Hi, YouTube. Watch me pick my nose, 'cause that's what I do. I'm the comedic relief to this wonderful podcast. I'm just kidding. Welcome to well, I'm not kidding about picking my nose. I actually forgot I hit live on YouTube, so you got to watch me, pick my nose. Anyways, welcome to the pre-podcast show. We appreciate you guys hopping on here on YouTube. We have another fantastic episode here with my lovely new permanent co-host. Yeah.
What? New and permanent?
Well, till yes, permanent. I want to live.
I'll say, don't you dare speak that evil over us. We had enough evil spoken over us already.
Yeah, so sit back, relax. Steve is currently peeing and getting coffee. We don't know which order, but that's what he's doing. So sit back, have some fun, tune in, chime in, all that good stuff. Got any questions? Put in the comments. Bree will see if they are deemed worthy of repeating.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, how are you feeling, babe?
I'm feeling good.
All
I'm
right.
actually excited for tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
new beginning.
New beginning, fresh beginning. I mean, I'm in the process of, yeah, Adam just goes, what, Bree? Permitted? I think he meant permanent co-host.
She's
Well,
very,
yay.
yes, she's very primitive.
Yeah, no, I am. I'm it, guys. So I'm actually in the process of making our new artwork. Nick is going through it. I've created 3 designs already. And I think what we'll do to make it fun is possibly make a contest out of it. And like winner will get, of course it'll be stated that they were the winner. That the design is that, but why don't we make it fun and throw in like a grab bag of merch
Yeah,
for the winner, like an assigned copy of your book?
that's expensive.
But it's worth it.
I'm a baller on a budget.
I know we're balling on budget, baby, but I think throwing a signed copy of your book in there. Okay, Ghost does not sponsor us, people. But I think throwing in a signed copy of the book would be really cool. And maybe we could even start with tonight. We could have the contest run for, like, say, the next month. And each guest, so the next 4 guests that we have, see if they're willing to throw in like stickers or something into this grab bag. Because you guys, the next tonight, next week is like we've got some really amazing guests. I actually went through my secret stash of people, and we're actually booked up right now to November 12th with
Yeah.
some pretty amazing people. Do we want to give them a rundown of who we got so far while we're waiting?
No.
No. Oh, okay. Keep you guys in suspense. But hey, Lily.
But what I will say is the show goes on.
Yes.
The show goes on, people.
Yes.
So things happen, change happens, and you move on.
Yes.
Because nobody holding me down. Oh no.
I got to keep on moving.
What you will learn in the paranormal is that not everybody is going to agree with you. Not everybody is going to like you. There are people that will trash you and all that stuff.
Really
And
trash you.
it is what it is. That's a character of them,
That's a
not
them
you.
problem.
So moving on, and we'll see what happens. Um, yeah, I don't know. Wait for Steve. I must be. He really had to pee. Either that or it was a really good cup of coffee.
Hey, everybody, we got 6 people watching live. We got 4 likes. One of those is mine. So why don't we start slapping that like button like, it's the ass of your betrothed.
Oh, are we live?
We're
We are
live.
live on YouTube.
Welcome, everybody. Sorry, I went down to get coffee, and then I forgot the coffee. So,
I
cheers.
was gonna say, I thought I saw you walk back in and then you disappeared again. I'm like, don't tell me he had a moment.
Yeah, I did.
Did everything flow okay?
Oh, it was great.
Was
It went
great.
very well. I would rate it probably a 10 out of, well, there's always room for improvement. So, 7 out of 10.
Okay.
7 out of 10's good.
Yeah.
That means like
No, you
not
can't
too
complain.
much.
If you're getting a 7 out of 10, that means you're avoiding going to see the doctor about your prostate. So
Yeah. You know, if it was, I mean, on the flip side, I guess if it's like a full 10 out of 10, then there's probably something wrong, right? So, that just flows.
So this is our
Pre-show.
pre-podcast show where we go live about 10 minutes before we hit record, just to chit chat with YouTube a little bit, and then we do that after the show. We do a little post game or post podcast show to wrap it up. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead here in a couple minutes. We're going to hit record and record for the episode. And this goes on all major podcast formats. So Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, Audible, Amazon.
And it's now on Apple, not just your phone, but also on the computer or
something like that. I don't know. I got to figure all that out. So
it might take us a little bit to get it uploaded. We're in the process of the transition, which happened
not even about 24 hours ago.
Yeah, we weren't really expecting it. So
hi, Adam.
Sunday while we were sleeping. Let's put it that way.
It's a good time.
Oh yeah. Wake up.
Good. Yeah.
So what we'll do here is I'll hit record. I'll do a little intro. Bree will introduce you, and then we'll just, I don't know, we just talk about whatever, see what trouble we can get into, see if we can get canceled on YouTube.
I'm good at that. I'm very good at that. So I think we're.
Oh, no filter.
Okay.
No filter. You can say what you want, how you want to say it. I don't care. The more open and honest and un-PC, the better. I love it. We are the Paranormal TMZ.
All right. I like it. I like it. Oh, man.
Are we ready?
Yeah. And just so you know, Steve, you're going to see me looking down a lot. I keep YouTube running on my phone, so I'm trying to keep up with comments. Any questions come in, I write them down, make sure that we get those asked. So yeah, just so you know, if you see me glancing around or on my phone, I'm not bored.
Because you're bored and you hate me. That's fine. I get it.
I'm just
exactly
following along.
Yeah, sure. The screenshot. I know. It's just that's not even like it's not even this.
Yeah, she's already regretting this.
Yeah, she's like, please let me.
What the hell did I sign up for?
Like, can I doom scroll Facebook now?
All right, Steve, Bree, you guys ready?
We're ready.
YouTube, here we go. What is up, paranormal community around the globe? It is, what is today? September 17th, 2024. Welcome back to another beautiful episode of the Old World Paranormal Podcast. This is episode 127, but this could be absolutely, the reset button. This could be episode 1. Because in the last 24 to 36 hours, we've had a bombshell dropped on us. And my co-host for 3 seasons has resigned. And I really don't want to get into the details of that. If you'd like to see the bashing of myself and my lovely new co-host, Bree, then you can head over to Facebook and find that, and you can make a judgment for yourself. So we are moving forward as usual. We're not going to skip a beat. We're excited for the new future. Bear with us as we work out some kinks and tweaks on the podcast to see if we can't make this even bigger and better. But we're excited. Are you excited, babe?
Oh, I'm so ready.
She's ready. She's ready. She's
Sorry, were you talking to me when you said babe, or were you talking to Bree? I wasn't sure.
See, and Steve is the absolute perfect guest for us to have a fresh start with.
I wasn't sure. I didn't answer just out of respect, but I kind of thought it was. I kind of thought it was for me, Bree. Just saying.
Hey, you know what? I mean, you can be babe, I can be baby. How's that?
Okay. Yes, I'm in. I'm
Totally.
in for that. I'm in.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, Bree, why don't you go ahead and introduce Babe here?
All right, everyone. So we got Babe on the line, and no, I'm not talking about the pig. I'm talking about the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Steve Dills. You might know him for Erie excursions, co-hosting. You might even know him as as he said in his speech, the quote unquote historian of the Ghost Finders, and also the executive director and founder of Transcend Paranormal, where they are taking the East Coast and Virginia by storm. They are partnering up with these amazing historical locations that happen to be what I love, haunted. And what they're doing is they are setting up events, everyone, and 100% of the proceeds are going directly back into these historically haunted locations to make sure that the restorations, the preservations, any renovations that need to be made, they've got the funding for it. So if, Lord forbid, another COVID happens, they've got that money put to the side to keep those doors open, and we don't tragically lose any more of these locations. And I mean, let's face it, the East Coast, that's our bread and butter when it comes to history. I mean, that's the stuff that's dating back, when it comes to documented history, people. I mean, we know that there's hieroglyphs in Arizona, but talking about the stuff that's documented with Christopher Columbus, you know what I mean? So
As far as American history, yeah, 100% I agree with that. But I don't know. Lately, I've been more wanting to go out west versus East Coast.
well, I mean, I mean, when you think about it, there's a lot of downside due to paranormal drama, but which makes it difficult. But East Coast is also really overdone. But what I love is that with Steve's team, they're actually working with locations that are lesser known. They're like the hidden gems, like the Ross House in Ohio,
Right.
and I just saw that they actually just partnered up with a historic pump house out in Richmond, Virginia. And
Like they
it's
make like high heel pumps.
Yes. but like 1820s kind of heel pumps. You know what I mean? Like like
Yeah,
no.
it's fancy.
No, it's called a pump house. So it's like Richmond City had some pretty disgusting water for a while. And even when the pump house was first kind of installed, it was still pretty gross water because back then they were just like, oh, it's water from the river. It must be clean, right? Fish don't poop in that. And so they'd pump it into the city up into, some of the reserves, and that's where that water would sit. And then as humans progressed and we realized that, I don't know, like the same place that you dump dead bodies and like I said, fish poop in probably needs to be cleaned out a little bit before you drink it. And so the pump house served a huge role for Richmond City for quite some time. Not only that, but it also sat right on the canals where a lot of the shipping and the ship, the shipping industry would have utilized that waterway. Because pretty much right up to Richmond City is where like the depth of the water was deep enough that some of those big ships could get in. And so it's a really cool spot. They also had balls and dances there. The Richmond kind of elite of the time would arrive by any form of travel. They'd boat in, or they'd have horse and carriage. They'd take the train in, like whatever, just to arrive and have this grandeur entrance. And then they'd go to this massive ball on top of the building. There's this open air ballroom that people would have partied at and drunken debauchery and all that sort of stuff. So
And the ladies wore pumps.
yeah, and the ladies wore pumps. So, pump house. But so we partnered with them recently to investigate, and we're hosting one of the first public investigations there, I think, ever. And it's already, I mean, it's already sold out. It's like October 25th, I think it is, which is more than a month away, and it's already like already sold out, which is really, really, really cool. Very exciting for them. So
Well, and you know what's interesting for all my history buffs out there. Now, if anybody who knows me knows the Civil War is my bread and butter. Richmond was the capital of the Confederacy. So if he's talking that they had balls
They had balls.
at,
they
I
had
mean,
all-
the puns are never ending right now, and I'm fighting myself on this. But it's my first night as co-host, so I gotta be professional here, Steve. Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Professional what? No.
I'll do gooder.
Hey, we are educated in this place, all right? But you gotta think with the balls that they held at this pump house, there's probably a lot of balls in this ball, all right? But I mean, it was just
Steve, are you going to go in with a lot of cat balls?
he's gonna go in and be like,
Look at all these balls.
you, dude, man, you gotta go in with a bag full of balls. You gotta like just toss them in the air and be like, I'm making the balls rain. Sorry. All right. But I mean, you gotta think there's traces of the Civil War history in
Mhm.
this location as well, considering how far back
Was
this
this
building
built before?
dates.
When was this built?
I don't remember the year, but this I don't believe was actually. So there was a the whole lock and canal and everything that was there for quite some time. I don't believe this was here necessarily for the Civil War. I gotta check on the dates. But I mean, the
The
entirety of
land.
Richmond City. Yeah, I mean the land. I mean everything about Richmond City was Civil War, right? So they had Richmond City was a massive producer of ammunitions and equipment, you name it, anything for the war machine. Richmond City was literally pumping out. So much so that just about every historic building that either remotely or did survive the fire, because as Richmond was evacuated, they lit it on fire, right?
Yeah.
And so the majority of the buildings there were utilized for the war machine. And if it wasn't a munitions factory or storage, it was probably a hospital. They had a massive amount of hospitals throughout Richmond City, and especially up on one particular hill called Church Hill, and that's where a lot of these hospitals were. And so it was a very important place, right? It was the capital of the Confederacy. We have the White House of the Confederacy is still standing. It's still here. It's a museum today, which is really neat. But yeah, I mean, the entire waterway would have been armed to the teeth, because they knew if anybody was able to get a ship up towards Richmond, it would be game over. And so we've investigated a number of places in Richmond City, all the way down to a place called Henricus Historical Park, which is where kind of some of those first line of defenses were for Richmond, because if they passed by Henricus, the next stop was Richmond. So it's we've investigated all up and down the James River, just hitting all these spots, and they just so happen to not only necessarily line up to the Civil War, but even predating that. Henricus, for example, goes back to 1611, which is the second English settlement in America. So it's a really cool spot. Yeah, a lot of
So
history.
before we get into depth of a lot of different conversations, give us the short version of Steve, of Babe.
Of Babe. All right,
Of
let me tell you about
who
Babe.
you are and why are you a knucklehead in the paranormal like us?
So me. I guess we'll start at the beginning, where all good stories begin. So I got into
Here
the
I was
paranormal.
coming out of my
Yeah.
mother,
And
and
I saw this bright light. And there were balls. And
That were not attached to myself. Oh, sorry.
So
yep, we're done.
Wow.
we're done. Canceled. See, this is
I
easy.
got the first cancellation of the night. Yes.
It's like it says we're offline.
Goal
What's going on
achieved.
here? So I grew up up north. right? I'm a Jersey boy, and so that's where I have all my charm, my charming personality and everything. Um, I was born in Jersey, lived right outside of Philadelphia for a little while, and then my dad had a job opportunity to move, to Richmond, and it was one of those. It'd be really silly to not take, right?
Right.
And so um, I'm sending this one place here real quick. So he had the opportunity and, you know, decided to go ahead and take it, right? Um, I was young at that time. I was, gosh, I don't know. I was probably in third grade, I want to say maybe second grade. So I was fairly, fairly young. However, um, I was old enough to realize that like this is a life altering, life changing thing. My
Right.
my family, my friends, everything I knew and understood was all in Pennsylvania and Jersey and New York and everything. And here I am in this foreign land, foreign country, essentially. Um, I don't know, anybody here. People are waving at you, which I found very weird for a while, not gonna lie.
What the
Because
fuck is
in
wrong with you?
yeah, because like Jersey, if somebody's waving at you, you better drive faster. Like, so so brand new territory, and we move into this house. We had to move in very quickly, because it was a take this job, get started right away, or you miss your chance. So, my parents bought this house brand new. Nobody had lived in it before, but it had been sitting on the market for a while. And granted, it was a very weird layout, but needed to make the jump. Um, it wasn't meant to be a permanent house, but we were there for about 2 years, and as my mother says, 2 years too long. And as soon as I got down there and we moved into this house, things started happening for me. Um, it started off pretty pretty as low key in a sense. It started off with hearing whispers in my ear, my name being called at night. Then it progressed into louder and louder until it was screaming into my ear, waking me up in the middle of the night. From there, I ended up getting sick, and I was sick for a number of months. Doctors had no idea what was wrong with me. All of the tests and everything said I was, for all intents and purposes, perfectly fine. But I had loss of appetite, just wasn't feeling myself whatsoever. I was having the bedroom doors open and close by themselves. I was having closet doors open and close by themselves. Um, and then it just kept escalating and escalating, escalating. Hearing footsteps coming into my room, hearing talking, hearing the piano playing in the middle of the night. And granted, we had a piano, but God bless, if you touch that piano in the middle of the night and my mother was sleeping, she would bite you. Like she was, you know. So you don't do that. And on the flip side, nobody else played the piano except her. So it was, it was weird. And they just progressively got worse. I would have things thrown at me, things moving around my bedroom, things moving around the house. Um, I was seeing doppelgangers, but not necessarily of the uh, the typical person like you'd see, somebody over
Mhm.
here. It was of our family dog. And I'd see him outside and I'd go outside to get him, and next thing you know, he's asleep on the couch, and he'd been sitting there with my mother for like 2 hours watching horrible daytime TV. Um, so like these things just got progressively worse and worse, more aggressive, more aggressive. And finally, I mean, it scared the shit out of me, not gonna lie. Like it was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying to be in this house. I was afraid to go home. I did not want to be there. I did not want to stay there. I didn't want to sleep there. I didn't want to do anything in this house. Um, and finally, after 2 years, uh, we had a new house built and we moved out. Um, and I don't know if it's sheer luck or what, but whatever that was, you know, bothering the absolute hell out of me, um, stayed. And I didn't have that activity anymore. And I was so relieved to be able to finally, be somewhere that I felt a little bit more comfortable, right? Um, I guess taking an extra couple of steps, a couple of years, um, I became very interested in that, right? Like, why did that happen to me? Why was it directed towards me? Now, granted, other folks in the house, my mother predominantly was also having experiences, but nothing as aggressive as this. Um, and so I just had that innate desire to understand, why did that occur to me? Right? Why was I experiencing these things? And so I I guess that stuck with me, and when I got into college and finally got my own car, I started exploring the paranormal. Um and ended up in this group called the Richmond Paranormal Society. It's still around today. Um at that time it was a couple thousand people strong, and would go on a couple of investigations with them, but realized that it was pretty difficult because it was the first folks that signed up, right? They'd say, okay, we've got a location over here. We can take the first 10 people that sign up. And granted, I'm a nerd. I work in IT, and so I was always at the computer, and so therefore it was very easy for me to get onto these investigations.
Right.
However, I never knew the other 9 people. And I very quickly realized that I felt very unsafe around folks that I didn't necessarily know, that I couldn't depend on. If, shit hit the fan, would these folks have my back or would they turn and run? And I didn't know that.
Right.
And so I realized, like, I need people that are gonna, I'm gonna know, I can trust, I can depend on, and they can
I
depend
need
on
my
me.
own people.
Yeah. And so that's where Transcend, kind of came to fruition. It was a 4 of us or so, and we formed the team. First off, just to kind of explore the paranormal and answer our own questions, and then it kind of evolved a little bit into, well, why can't we use our experiences? Why can't I use my own battle scars to help other people? um, because nobody wants to be terrified of their own home, right? That is supposed to be your safe place, your haven away from the
Correct.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be scared of it and terrified of it is not a warm and fuzzy feeling, right? That sucks.
Mhm.
Um, and so we kind of got into that a little bit, and then we had a historic location reach out to us, Henricus Historical Park. Um, Actually, we reached out to them, and they took a chance on us, and that's where we realized that we had a huge passion for history, and uh, for working with and working for some of these locations to help them
Right.
fundraise. Um, and that's kind of how we started. We went from 4, we're about 30 or so people strong today. We're a large team. But as I like to say, we're all adults. Everybody gets along. We all kind of understand.
That's
Um,
very rare.
it is, and I
It's
love that
very
about
rare.
I love that about my team. We all come together, and every year or two, we redefine our mission statement and say, what are we trying to accomplish? What are we here doing? What is it that we want to put out into the world? Um, and that's how Transcend operates. And one of the big things that we always focus on is helping historic locations, because by far and large, the majority of historic locations that you will go and visit do not have federal, state, or local funding,
Correct.
none
Yeah.
whatsoever. Um, it is all through the funding of grants, of donations, and of people coming on site and getting involved, and that is how these places survive. Otherwise, they falter and they fall, and they get lost to history. And I hate seeing it. I've seen it happen a
Oh
number
yeah.
of times before, where we've worked hard to try to save a historic property, and then at the end of the day, it's bulldozed.
Yeah.
And it's very sad. And so we do what we can to try to give back to the community, and our way of doing that is fundraising through historic, or excuse me, fundraising at these historic locations through um ghost tours, public investigations, lectures,
Right.
presentations, whatever. Just trying to get people passionate about these historic locations so that they don't get lost to time again. um
Right.
and so that's a little bit about me on the personal front. Like I said, I work in IT. I've got a wonderful wife and 2 crazy children that keep me very well insane. Um, but yeah, it's fun.
So I gotta know. So that house that you moved to in Virginia that you lived for 2 years that started all this, is it still standing?
It is. It is. It is still there. I don't know who lives in it. I have not been back. And I also don't want to go like cold call and be like, "Hey,
Because
I
it's gotta pique your curiosity now.
a little bit. I'm still a little bit like hesitant to go because of the activity that happened, and I don't want whatever that was because I've always viewed it as negative. I
Yeah.
didn't view any experience that I had there as an inquisitive or positive or some sort of just okay, this is something interacting. I mean, I was in like second or third grade. I was a child.
Well,
Um,
all of it would seem scary.
well, yeah, it would, but then on the flip side, I'm like, why was this thing targeting me and interacting with me, but not my parents? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like for whatever reason, this thing was like, you know what, that little son of a bitch, that's the one. That's the one. Get him. And like didn't bother with my parents whatsoever. So I'm not sure what the goal was. Like I didn't have anything great to offer, you know what I mean? Other than I'm just a easy target. And I really
Well, I
feel like
mean,
that's why.
that spirit was like, I'm gonna attack this crazy kid that's wearing pumps and playing with balls. Like
Yeah,
he's an easy
terrorize.
target. Yeah.
Terrorize this thing. So
Yeah, I was just curious if, I mean, obviously from that time period to now, you're well developed. You have a great understanding of the paranormal and what you're dealing with when you walk into locations. I don't know if curiosity kills a cat, like at some point where you're like, I really want to close the chapter on this book. Like, I don't
I
know. Send a letter in the mail, be like, this sounds weird. I'm not a
this
stalker and I'm not sitting in front of your house. Okay, maybe I am. But I used to live in your house, and this spirit fucked my old world up. Do you?
I've definitely driven by because it's not far. It's maybe 10 minutes down the road from here.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, it's not far at all. So I've definitely driven by. I actually have family that lives in that neighborhood now. um,
Is their
but
house haunted?
not that I know of. I don't think they at least they haven't said anything. But interesting. I mean, it's Virginia, so if you didn't have a Civil War battle or skirmish, then you probably had somebody setting up an encampment or a field hospital right where your house is or your property. Um, and I know that all of that previously to being developed was swampland. So it definitely didn't have battles, but more than likely folks could have been trudging through it. So I don't know what exactly like tied, to that property. It wasn't the house. House is brand
Mhm.
new. So it
Well, you
was
did say it was odd. It was an odd setup in the house, right?
oh god, yeah. It was very weird. You'd walk in and the stairwell to go up was on the right and it was a closed stairwell, so you'd go up a couple steps, turn, and then double back to go up. And everything was closed. Like to get to my room you had to go all the way up the steps, and then you had to go down this long hall, take a left, go down this other long hall, and then I'm down there at the very far end away from everything else. And so there was it was the weirdest thing like that was the I don't know, and I think that's probably why it sat on the market first off for so long, is because it did feel very enclosed. um if you were in one of those back bedrooms, you felt very disconnected from the rest of the house. I mean, you had a bit of a lap to take to get to anything else, um, in the house at all. So it is a very, very weird layout.
You think back to the original Ghostbusters movie, and they did some research on that building, and they come to find out the architect designed that building a specific way as an antenna. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I don't know. Like me, like there's a house in Fort Wayne that I spent a lot of my childhood in that it was a funeral home originally, then it was converted into a house. And I mean, you talk about paranormal shit show, and there's people that live there now. And I mean, I'm like you, like I want to just go knock on that door, like, how's it going? How's dinner time? How's bedtime? You still hearing footsteps up and down the stairs?
Do you see full body apparitions walking around? That's not you guys. Like I've thought about it. I also don't want to get arrested and be the crazy person. So I'm not sure how to approach it. I've always had that curiosity, but I don't know.
No, man, you just put like that banner behind your convention where it says Steve Dills, aka Babe, been on this show and
Babe.
this show and did this and did this. See, what you do is you send a letter and you just send them all this shit like, I'm so professional. Like
Listen, you
I'm the
do
next.
yours. You do yours first, and then I'll do mine.
Oh man, why you gotta put me on the spot?
You know what though? This reminds me of the Victorian historian Adam Shefts.
Yeah.
He like researches newspaper articles from the Victorian era, like where they did like the ghost stories and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll go back and research like locations that are mentioned and like find if like the houses are still standing. And we put him to a challenge.
He took it.
And he took it. He's actually going to send a letter to the next location that he finds where the house is still standing and just reach out to them and tell them that he's researching for his next book and would like to talk to them about the location.
I think your house is haunted.
To reach out to the new homeowners, like, and be like, hey, I used to live here. I just, I wanted to, I'm just curious to see if any changes have happened. And, do you have any good stories about the house? You don't have to come out and be like, yo, so have you seen the headless man walking through here? Or
I'm gonna get like a do not contact.
I mean, you don't have the Beetlejuice baby crawling up, are you? Like
in the letter, just don't talk about, in that back bedroom, like I once saw a 12-foot demon.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean that's what got me into the field and where I am today is just this sheer curiosity that I guess evolved over time into, well, maybe I can help other people kind of going through the same thing and the same experiences. So
talk about your role on the show Ghost Finders.
yeah, so I am the historian, and I'm gonna shout out to Rob and Heather on that one. If you look at the intro, I love it, Rob, I love it, Heather. But it's it'll say it'll say Rob Thompson, psychic medium, Daniel Class, investigator, Brittany, investigator, Steve Dills, historian, and I'm like, why am I in quotes? So,
are you no? And you're like the only one with the quotes too.
I'm the only one with the quotes. I'm the only one with the quotes.
Like, are you making fun of me?
I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie. I've never watched an episode of Ghost Finders. So, are you actually on the episodes, or are you just?
Yeah, I am. So what my role is we'll find a location, right, and we'll get ready to go and film there. And I will do the historical digging, right? I'll do a lot of the research. I'll reach out to some of the historical societies nearby. I'll see if there's anywhere that I can, if I'm in town early, I might swing by and try to look through, some local documentation, maybe at a library, so on and so forth. But my role is to kind of build out a portfolio and say, okay, well, this is the history of the location. Not necessarily, but sometimes digs in a little bit into the paranormal where I can say, well, these folks have been experiencing these things for this many years, right, and so on and so forth. But that's kind of my role. And then as Rob and Megan and Patty Negri might go in blind because they don't want to have any of the history of the location impacting any of their readings. I typically will have that information and I'll share it, maybe with Dan or Brittany. And then as the evening goes on, throughout the investigation, I can tie some of what we're experiencing and say, well, maybe this is tied to this. Maybe this is, is related to some piece of history. And so I am, I'm on there investigating as well. I love it because I love being able to explore the history of a location. One of my favorite things, and I'm very sad that it's gone, but Greenville Manor, got to go up there and investigate that location. That was a rough location to investigate, being a father and it being a funeral parlor in the past, and one of the rooms is set up as a funeral for a child, and that was a little rough. That was a little rough, but what was really unique was I got in touch and got to meet and interview the folks at the local historical society, and lo and behold, they had a section of their museum that was dedicated
Excuse me.
um, to the manor, and dedicated to the funeral parlor that had been there and all that sort of stuff prior. Um, and so I got to build that connection between the folks that owned the house and the historical society. Unfortunately, things happened, and there was a lot of extensive damage due to water, a water pipe bursting, and it's no longer open for investigating. But um, it was really fun building that connection, and being able to bring in a little bit more history. They had found some articles and some I guess accoutrements, memorabilia, artifacts and stuff that were from the time when it was a parlor or a funeral home, and I got to build that connection. So I love it. I love to explore some of these locations and dig in, and um, there's a lot when you go to some of these spots that people will kind of embellish on. I don't do that. The history is the history. That's what it is. And I think we should honor and learn from that. And so sometimes I have to pull away what's truth and what's not, especially if other places and other folks have been there and investigated it, and then they kind of perpetuate these weird stories. But it's
Well,
fun. It's unique.
any other funeral homes on the show?
Oh God, I don't know. I know I don't know if Brooks on. I don't know if we filmed at Wildwood. Um,
Brooke is
I
watching,
I know
actually.
I see her there. I see her over here. I got it on the screen over here. Um, I know from an Eerie Encounters perspective, we did film at Wildwood, but we were actually up there going to Hinsdale. And I know Chris and I stayed there the night after you were there, Bree. I think it was the night after, maybe you stayed there the
Yeah,
night.
you were, because that was in
Okay.
November, right?
Yeah, it was colder than hell. It was absolutely freezing up there.
Yeah, because I was there in November, then I was there again in January for like, what was it? Let's see. I did one night for Remotely Paranormal, went back to Hinsdale, back to Wildwood. I was there for 2 nights in a row in January, but I believe you were there after
It was
me
November.
in November, because I was there right like a couple of days after Kalani. It was like we all like bumped into
Yep, we were
each
like all
other. Like,
back to back.
yeah.
But we didn't
So
we didn't
you didn't
film the
film.
Ghost Finders there, but we did film Eerie Encounters there. And I'm working on that episode now. Surprise, surprise.
So you haven't filmed anything in Fort Wayne, Indiana?
Oh yes! Oh my God! Yes, we went to Bell Mansion too. Listen, I have a memory of a goldfish. All right,
So
so
did you do the history there, the research?
a little bit. Luckily, Lindsay and oh my gosh, I can't remember his name right now off the top of my head, but we had two wonderful folks there that helped us with the history a lot.
Hmm.
So
You know
why?
what Nick did, right?
What'd you do, Nick?
Nick, what did you find?
I
What
don't know. Nothing.
he's the founder of the Bell.
Oh,
He's
really?
Hmm.
That's cool,
he's
man.
Well, it was.
It's pretty. I
yeah.
love I love that place. It's such a
So how
cool
did you
spot.
think of it? What did you think of the activity there?
I thought it was great. I mean, I love that building. It's so pretty. I love the gargoyles outside, by the way. Um, and I don't know. It just felt. Um, I didn't feel anything horrible. I know. One of the really cool things that we had happen that really sticks out in my memory is we were upstairs and something kept asking us to go to the basement, go to the basement, go to the basement, go to the basement. And so we get down there and we had ACG Paranormal with us. I think it was. No, we didn't. No, wait. I'm mixing Greenville. I think I'm mixing Greenville. Because you guys, oh God, I don't remember. My memory is so bad right now. Bell was upstairs in Bell. The attic is a really cool spot, right? That the top floor.
The third floor, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
That was really, really cool. If I recall correctly, and again, I'm trying to like piece, this has been a while. Isn't there like a younger spirit up there?
There's a lot of spirits up there.
But I
There's a
think there
lot of
was like
spirits.
I think there was like a younger boy that we were interacting with up there.
Yeah, you guys
If
you
memory
guys went
serves.
there. You guys went and filmed a couple months after my departure
Okay.
when you were there. I just wanted to bust your balls. That was it. I really don't care.
No, I mean it was a cool spot. It was absolutely exhausting, I'll tell you that, because it was a 13-hour drive to get up there. And that was rough. That was, I think that's one of the longest drives I've taken solo. Is 13 hours to get up there and then 13 hours back. And we were up there for the weekend. So it was like drive up Thursday, 13 hours, film I think Friday and Saturday, and then 13 hours home to get back in time for work. So it was
You
a
work in
whirlwind.
IT, man. Take
I
your computer with you.
know, I know.
So he understands the drive that you and I took when we showed up in Virginia
Oh my
at the
God, you did
event.
13. Oh man, that is a rough drive.
Yeah, that's the
And
drive that
like,
we did when we showed up. We had to leave at like what, 6 in the morning?
For you guys that don't know, a few weeks back, we had the opportunity. So a good friend of mine, Father Kenneth Torres, well, a good friend of ours, he lives out in the Bay Area, so it's not really easy to interact with him on a personal level. But he was going to be in Virginia for an event, and I'm like, we didn't have nothing going on, so I got on. We bought 2 tickets. You know, we were paying customers, and we showed up. Didn't tell anybody we were going, and that's where I met Steve for the first time and I got to witness his lovely speech and what do you call that?
His talk.
His talk and his
It's not a TED talk.
no, he really likes his clicker though because he wants to
I
turn on and
I do. That's the ADHD kicking in. I gotta have like a thing, something
That's
to
why
do.
I always wear my bracelets because that's mine.
Yep.
I can sit and I'll twirl. Like when I
Yep.
get and having my vape, it's since we're quitting smoking, like it's turned into my pacifier. Like we'll be on location and I'll sit there with it like this. Like I'm not necessarily puffing on it, but it's like you can tell I'm getting anxious. Like I'll start or I'll get like real cuddly and he'll be like, "Oh my God, you're feeling stuff, aren't you?" And I'm like, it's
yeah,
not.
no, that's not how I say it. I normally say, "Get the fuck off me."
Yeah.
I'll be like, "Fuck
Everybody
you,
say, leave me alone.
bite me." That's always what I say. I'm like, "Bite me. I don't like what I'm feeling and I need my teddy bear right now. So shut the fuck up and let me hug you. You're going to take my hug. You're going to accept it and you're going to like it. All right."
Okay, calm down, damn. Shit, this went south quick.
No, you know what one of my favorite things was we're sitting there and all we hear come across is bring her in. And I'm like, I look at Nick and I'm like,
No.
I'm just like, really?
Now she's gonna grab it. God damn it.
It's your favorite.
Oh, the best. It's the best. I
So,
love dolls.
do you
Absolutely
want
love
to?
them.
So we did almost a week at the Ross House. I don't know if you've heard of it yet. It's down the street in Bel Air from the Bel Air House in Bel Air, Ohio.
I have
Went down
not.
to help her
You gotta go.
renovate, and holy crap, interesting haunted location.
I
Lots
think
of
I
layers.
is that where you're doing the wood flooring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I did see the pictures. It looked really cool.
So we
You should
come
come do
home.
wood flooring at my house.
I'm gonna have to charge you by the hour just to drive there. So, anyways, we come home, we're unpacking. She puts Brielle where she's supposed to be. And the next morning, I come up to the office, and
Well,
she.
no, wait. You got to go backwards first.
Well, we just need the synopsis of the story, not
Oh.
12 minutes of it.
Well, we heard a boom while we were laying in bed.
Okay, you can say that part.
We're laying in bed and we hear this big thump.
Mhm.
Then a few hours later, you come upstairs. There you go. Because, yeah, we hear a thump and we're
Anyways.
like,
She's clear across the room, face down.
in the door. Now, we do have 3 cats and a dog.
She's probably trying to fly with her eye
Nothing,
wings.
right? She tried to fly. She used her wings.
Dude, look how creepy she is.
But I love how okay.
Steve, imagine just roll you're almost awake and you roll over to the wife to say, good morning, honey. And you open your eyes and then bam.
That thing's right there.
I'm gonna get him with her one of these days like that.
Dude,
Well, I love how I got Steve with her and I got him unintentionally. We're at the bash.
Yes.
And now Steve and I have been friends on like socials for a while, but we never met in person. We finally got a chance to meet. And they're doing the raffle. And I had just brought Brielle in, and I'm standing with Brooke and her mom, Lori. Brooke is, for those listening, the owner of the Wildwood Sanitarium. And she had her Jeff Fent Geo box with her. And the way the handle is, it actually fits perfectly the way the doll has her legs crossed. And so I just sat her on top. And Steve and his wife and everybody else that are around and behind, they're like, oh my God, she's such a well-behaved child. And I'm like,
I thought it was a kid.
And I'm like, yeah, we're going to go and get ice cream after this. She's doing so good. I pick her up, I put her on my hip, and I turn around, and I thought he was going to go flying backwards into the pool in the next room. Like, he was like,
I thought it was a real child. I was like, oh my gosh, she's just sitting there so well behaved and quiet and like, and she picks her up. I was like, oh shit.
the look on his face was priceless.
I was like, this is not a child.
But you never know.
Demon child.
She can hear you.
Oh my goodness.
Well, what's cool is that at the Ross house, she's got 4 haunted dolls, and one of them is Peggy. And Peggy is an old ceramic doll. And Peggy fell at her house, and so one of her legs is broken, so she's now one-leg Peg. But
one-leg Peg, yeah. She's got the old peg leg.
Basically, yeah. So we sat just out of curiosity. We were like, let's do a really cool photo op and do like a tea party with the dolls. And then I'm like, should we get equipment out? And she's like, oh my God, let's do this. Because like she doesn't really investigate too much. She just has the haunted location. So she's like, I'll get the cat ball. Because she has one little cat ball she keeps in the cabinet that Peggy sits in.
Mm-hmm.
And she brings that out. I go and I get like the necrophonic box. I've got cat balls. I got the REM pod. I've got the epic box that has the voice that says yes,
Steve,
no.
Steve, as they're having a tea party, I'm in there slaving away.
Yeah, working, you're working. They're like, we're going to have a tea party for the dolls.
Yeah.
So I actually have a video. I still got to post this video, but we put all the stuff out and we start asking questions, and the epic and the REM pod start responding. Like the girls did not like each other. They liked the fact because she had purchased at HillCon at the Hillview Manor Paracon this creepy looking clown head, like centerpiece floral decoration. We did it with like this sitting in between them, and like the epic kept going no, so we moved it, and then it's like yes, and it'd be like yes, like 2 different spirits like having a conversation, and we're like, do you guys like each other? No. Why don't you like her? No. Are you happy that the clown is gone? And they're both like yes. But yeah, we actually got interaction.
I like how you're putting them on a play date. And like, what's great is the idea that they're like child spirits, when in reality, they're probably just like grown ass adults. And they're like, please, like, what in God's name are you doing? And then I just imagine Nick in the background, like, babe, can you give me the hammer? And you're like, no, I'm busy.
or we're loading up the truck. Did you buckle Brielle in? Yes, I fucking buckled your doll in.
Like busy putting all the power tools into the trunk. Like, did you buckle the doll?
Well, what's great is that like he buckled her, and I think it was on that trip, and he gets in the truck and he looks at me and he goes, I swear to fucking God, she just fucking winked at me.
Dude,
Like, and he's straight face, and I'm like looking at him and I can tell he's being serious. And I'm like, did you get a picture? Like, did you get your phone? He's like, I don't have my fucking phone.
I'm
Dolls are a
buckling your
no-go for
doll.
me.
So I'm like getting the thing. So I'm like this close face to face. And I swear to you, she went,
Her eyelids don't move, people.
Dude, dolls are a no-go for me. They're just too creepy. Little soulless little things staring at you. I don't do dolls. Can't do
so
them.
you had mentioned you have 30 some team members on your
Mhm.
team. Talk about how you how you
What are the logistics of
how do you
having a large
function
team?
dealing with 30 different adults.
30 different personalities.
So our excuse me, I've got like hiccups all day. So our recruitment method is a little bit unique. A lot of teams tend to have kind of a hierarchical structure, right? And they might have, okay, well, this is your lead, here's your lead investigator, here's your case, investigator for like private cases or whatever. Here's your tech lead, whatever, so on and so forth. We're a much more flat structure. I am the team director. Uh, one of the 4 founders, and I've got horrible, and it's going to be great. I'm going to love every second of this. Dude, I don't know why I keep having them all day. I've been in work meetings, and people are like, "Oh, you get some hiccups there, Steve," and I'm like, "Yeah, thank you." So I'm trying to time them, but you can't. And then I was like, maybe I'll just hold my breath, and I'm like, but then everybody's gonna see me just go red in the face here on the podcast. So we're gonna deal with it. It's gonna be
Just gonna
great.
roll with it. Just gonna roll with it.
We're gonna roll with it. So we have a much more flat structure. Um, I'm the team director, one of the founders, and that's it. We have 2 case managers that help out for private cases like residential homes, and that's it. I know it's great. Everybody is kind of on equal footing. We train everybody to be able to do everything and anything. So like there was an event the other weekend that I couldn't make it because it's my wife's birthday. And we decided we were going to do birthday things and not go talk to dead people instead. And so the team handled it. We had one person take over as, we have a few different roles when we actually have like a public investigation. One person, does the check-in, make sure folks sign waivers. Another person kind of kicks off, gets everybody into their groups, runs through the guidelines, groupings, all that. And then we have 2 people per group that will lead groups through, the investigation. Mm-hmm. So we kind of assign all that ahead of time once we understand who's going to be there. Not everybody can be at everything. We have some team members that are, that work on the weekends, and we have some team members that work during the week. And so we kind of just play to each other's strengths. Like I said, we have a weird recruiting method, and that is when we're bringing on folks, you have to come to some of our public investigations, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, we want you to spend money on us. It's if we have free stuff, that's okay too. We just want to get to know you first, and then we'll bring you on 2 or so private investigations, 2 meetings, and those meetings are not like we're going to go and talk about ghosts. It is just let's hang out. Maybe we're going to all grab dinner, we're going to go to a burger night somewhere, maybe we're going to go do something fun. And then we vote, and it is excuse me, I'm a Freemason, and so I've stolen kind of their voting system, but it's basically every person that wants to vote votes. If there is one person that blackballs you, that's it. And that can be anonymous. I've never had anybody get blackballed. I'll say that, and it's nice, but we do that because I don't want to rock the boat. we mesh very well. We've brought on folks that really work together, that know each other, that can rely and depend on each other. And the last thing I want to do is cause chaos and introduce chaos into the team. And so we do that recruitment method. And then, it's very well stated when we don't have any dues or any of that sort of stuff. I never, you already pay a lot of money to go to locations, and you're spending your own gas money, that sort of stuff. But we do say, hey, listen, if there's a transcend thing going on, and maybe you've got, maybe you're part of another paranormal team or something, and they might have something going on, we just ask that you kind of prioritize our thing. And then let's say we're full staffed for whatever it is, because we right size. We're not bringing all 30 people to, a 2-bedroom house, right? That just doesn't work. And so we right size. And that's why I say we're all adults, because we can say, okay, well, this investigation is going to work best with just 5 people. And then we say, okay, well, who's available? And out of that, we might have 7 people that are available, because not everybody, again, we've got folks that might be traveling, folks that might have other obligations, and I don't want this to be something that this is somebody's life, right? There's
Right.
so much more to experience than just the paranormal. And so if we have 7, we'll say it, we'll sit down, we'll say, hey, listen, how do we want to do this? Do we want to do a blind drawing and say, okay, well, the first 5 people we pull out, those are the 5 people that are going? And sometimes people are like, you know what, we're good. I don't need to go. I can sit this out. And so that's how we've worked, and everybody gets along very well, and I love it. And I think you're frozen, Nick. So I don't know if I'm still frozen or if I'm frozen or not, but we'll find out in a second here. It still says that it is. Oh, okay. Their internet's working, or not working quite yet, but I might be still live. Is it just me now? God, I hope it's just me. I'm taking over. We're gonna have to see in a second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just waiting to see. Oh, it is just me. Yes. Good evening, everybody. Now that we've kicked them off the show, it's just us now. It's just you, me, this coffee that I don't need at 9 o'clock at night. How's it going, everybody? How are you guys doing? This is the Old Town Paranormal Podcast with your host Steve Dills. Yeah, whatever, Bree. I don't care about your router. This is my show now. What questions do you guys have? Throw your questions in chat. Let's talk. Let's hang out. This is the new show, the new era, dawn of a new day. Yeah, Adam, we do actually. We've got that coming up. We do actually have to split up locations, and that's the nice thing. So, this weekend we've got 2 different investigations going on, and we've got one that's in one portion of Virginia, one that's in another portion, and we can actually split up the team. And the nice thing about that is, in the past, we've had to ask other teams and other individuals and say, hey, listen, we need some help, we need extra hands, yada yada yada. And you never know what other people's calendars look like, what their schedules look like, all that sort of stuff. And the cool thing is, we can say, hey, listen, we've got this up here, and that might be closer to some people. And so instead of having a 3-hour drive, they've got, a 20-minute drive to get there and investigate. And then over here, it's another 20-minute drive for other people, because we're spread out through the state of Virginia. It's not like we're all sitting in central Virginia right around Richmond. And that works out really well for us, because folks still get to investigate. We get to come back together as a team, and share some of our experiences, share what's going on, all that sort of stuff. But we're all adults. Hi, Michelle. Welcome to my show. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Old Town Paranormal Podcast, with your host, Steve Dills. But yeah, it's nice. We're able to split and take care of whatever, if there's and on top of that, our team doesn't just necessarily only do paranormal stuff. We get embedded with local historical locations, and if they need volunteers, we might be able to go and assist, and we volunteer our time. We've got some folks that are board members on historical properties, historical locations, myself included. I was the president for the last 3 years of a place called the Hanover Tavern, which is one of the oldest taverns in America. It dates back to 1733, I believe it is. So, we get involved, and we try to volunteer and help out where we can, and how we can benefit. It's not like, oh, it's got to be paranormal for us. We're trying to just get out of the community and help people and help locations. We do fundraising for other nonprofits. We've worked with Scares That Care in the past. We've done fundraisers for my buddy Dan. His daughter is going through osteosarcoma cancer treatment, and so we've done some fundraising for him, and just other good causes. None of the money goes to the team for Transcend. We do sell like T-shirts and merch at our events, and that money just goes literally back into buying more merch. We don't take a single dime. Everything goes directly to the historic properties that we work with. So it's fun. Adam, which place? I was talking to Courtney here about that place. Which, the tavern? Yeah, Dan from Hinsdale. Yes, Dan Class from Hinsdale. And Hinsdale's amazing, by the way. If you haven't been, you ought to go and check out Hinsdale. It's one of the coolest spots. And on top of that, it is absolutely beautiful up there in upstate New York. And I know a lot of people have, like, I had a really creepy experience there. However, it's absolutely beautiful. Oh my God, I could go and spend a week and just not go anywhere except chill on the property and fish in the lake and just hang out and enjoy nature, because you're kind of out there, but it's so pretty. It's such a great spot. Now, I didn't sleep for the entire night that I was there because I kept listening to something pacing back and forth in the kitchen, and then something trying to get in the back door. But beyond that, it was a good place. It was a good place. Yeah, Adam, you guys ought to hit me up. Let me know if you want to come to the tavern. I love it. It's my baby. My wife won't allow me to have a historic property because they are literal black holes of cash. But that is my historic property, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. It's my second home. And it's great. It's had a lot of historical figures through there. Everything from Patrick Henry, Marquis de Lafayette, Edgar Allan Poe, George Washington twice. So we got that. And even P.T. Barnum of all people. So we had a number of really cool folks that have been through those doors over the time. It's stood through the Revolutionary War, it stood through the Civil War, and into today. So I had an aunt who used to live at town of Hinsdale, and she refused to talk about that house. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? It's one of the only places in America that's ever had an exorcism on the property itself. And I think that's really, really unique and a really, really cool experience. I mean, I love it. And like I said, it's such a beautiful place. At some point, my interest been peaked on several places. Oh yeah, you should come. It's cool, and it's close to Richmond too. There's a historic town of Ashland that's not far, and that has a lot of really cool, like, it's small town feel. It's a train town, so there is a train that runs directly through the center of town. And on both sides, there's a lot of historic places that we've investigated. There's a historic town of Ashland. Oh, hey. Oh, goodbye. Okay, I was gonna say welcome to my show. But I guess our guests for tonight, Bree and Nick, are not planning on joining us. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna keep rolling, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, here they are. I think my guests are back. Focus on closing my. Dude, I don't know. I can sleep damn near anywhere. I can catch me. Welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce tonight's guests, Bree and Nick. They're here on my show this evening. So welcome. Welcome to the show. Thank you guys for being here.
I can sleep damn near anywhere.
All right, let me mute that. Okay.
I can't make this shit up.
Okay, it literally decided to update. Like we were like, are you you're kidding right now? I mean, we were like cry laughing. This was like the best. I was like, see, I told you Steve was the best guest to start this off with.
I can roll, man. I can talk to myself. Good.
You did phenomenal.
I appreciate you, brother. Welcome to the shit show. Brought to you by Team Brick.
I do have my shit show supervisor hat downstairs, so maybe I need to go and get that and put it on.
Totally.
Good Lord. Like this Zoom meeting would have ran forever.
Well, listen, I was here for the long run, all right? So we'll be talking until there's just 0 viewers.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
You're a good sport, brother. I appreciate you.
They're like, man, Steve had this. You've got it pulled up. He can see it at home.
Oh yeah. I'm always prepared. Listen, I'm always prepared. The old 40s here.
That's how he leads 30 people.
Yeah,
it's just on the fly.
The ADHD. I can pivot like nobody's business.
I was gonna say, how many computer screens you got on your desk? Because I see what looks like one over your shoulder.
So this is for work, and then there's a laptop that sits in front of this, and then I have 3 screens right here that are all yay big.
I was gonna say, you game, don't you? Because I noticed that I'm loving your gaming headset.
I do game. So I'm over prepared. Oh god, I'm gonna give away how toxic I am. I play Dead by Daylight. I play a tiny bit of League of Legends. I haven't played in a while, and then I played like last week again out of the blue. And then I play a horrible World's Most Toxic game called Rust. And
okay,
you're still there. Okay, so I do that in my whatever spare time that I have. I will go and be. I mean, I am not a horrible person, but there are a lot of horrible people on that game. So, you know.
No, that's awesome. I figured. I mean, like, if you can see something real world that you can bring into a conversation that shows the humanity of the person, that's not just paranormal, I think that's good for a conversation, because everybody's like, hey, we know, a lot of people, they see the same people consistently on podcasts and they're being asked the same questions, and it's like, okay, if I can notice something out of the blue that somebody else might not mention, I want to ask about it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's show some humanity. Let's pull out some different things with people,
OnlyFans, Steve, are you on there?
I'll send you the link later.
He's got a version of Paranormal After Dark. It's ghosting. It's a Transcend After Dark.
Yeah. TP After Dark.
All right, brother.
That's what we call it. We call our team toilet paper. This is Transcend Paranormal.
I was gonna say you got TP After Dark. Do you use 1-ply or 2?
Oh, it's 2. We gotta use 2-ply. But
dude wipes or no?
we need 2-ply. We've always joked about having Transcend Paranormal toilet paper, which just has the logo TP on it.
That would be funny.
I'm sure you can get it made.
Oh, I mean, 100%. And then I'm like, maybe we could sell this. People can buy it, and then that'd be
like a gag gift at a Paracon.
Exactly.
On the table. You never know.
Exactly. It's
Speaking of Paracon, TP. I love it. So, I'm thinking. Speaking of Paracons, what's going on at the Hanover Tavern? Say, like, I don't know, January 31st and February 1st of 2025.
I don't think anything. I'm just kidding. Were you getting nervous there for a second?
I was
like, bro. Yeah. So we just recently announced our annual. I think it's our 4th now. I can't remember anymore. Because we started it right before COVID, and then literally, God, we announced it. COVID hit, and then we had to cancel it. So like our first year was just right out the window immediately, which was great.
Right.
But our fourth annual, I believe, Hanover Tavern Paracon, it is going to be at the Hanover Tavern. So it's a historic building. Like I was talking about a little bit earlier, before my wonderful guests here hopped onto the show. But
We're never gonna live that down.
Nope,
the Hanover
I'm okay
Tavern.
with it, though.
It's all right.
It's a historic tavern, as the name implies. It was built in 1733, and it's one of the oldest surviving taverns in America. The current building, we call it the New Tavern because the current building is the second iteration. The earliest portion of it dates back to 1791, which is the home portion of the building, and then we have a tavern portion of the building that dates back to 1821. And in the 1830s, the two were connected, for what I refer to as our Frankenstein building today. It's a massive building, and we have a full restaurant and bar. We have a theater that seats 155 people. We've got a museum upstairs. We've got a full set of facilities for rentals for weddings. If we have people to come in and give presentations, work meetings, so on and so forth. But we are a huge kind of multifunctional building. I say we because I was the president of the nonprofit foundation that owns and operates the tavern. It's called the Hanover Tavern Foundation. And I was the president for the last 3 years, so I am newly retired. No, that's my fun. That's what I work in IT, and then this is my one of my many passion projects is the tavern. And so we thought that it would be kind of fun to host a Paracon, and it's been great. And 100% of the proceeds go directly to the tavern. So everything goes directly into the restoration and preservation of the building, of the site, as well as educational outreach, and programming, and community outreach. Every year we have 2,000 to 3,000 students that come in, and we teach them SOL topics, U.S. history, Virginia history, Rev War, Civil War, so on and so forth. And they come in for we have schools that come in for an entire month, back to back to back, day to day to day.
Wow.
And so some of that funding goes to helping cover the costs of the bus drivers, the buses, getting people there. We also have to pay for some of the interpreters that come in, for that, because it's a month long thing, so it's a lot of work. And so some of the money goes to support that, and literally goes back into the next generation, which is great. And then we also host a number of events throughout the year that just are for fun and benefit the community. We have something called Autumn Fest, which is coming up, just shy of 2 weeks away from now. And it's a big festival that celebrates fall. And we have live music, a petting zoo, face painting for the kids, a magic show.
That's awesome.
And we have local breweries and wineries, bringing in craft brews, as well as we pull out a boatload of barbecue. My God, it's the best food ever, because we start, dude, I kid you not, we start smoking the night before. And so we will all go and hang out, and set up these massive, absolutely massive smokers, and just start smoking everything, all kinds of meat, the night before, and then it's ready early morning. But the smell it is heavenly. Oh my God, it is. There's nothing better.
I can only imagine.
Now, what date is that? I
Autumn?
believe I saw. Yeah, isn't that is that the last Saturday of the month?
That is the 28th. It's a free event.
I was gonna say they're having it on my birthday.
Oh.
You should come down. 13 out. No, but it's a great time.
Don't, because we'll end up doing it.
Yeah. Well, you already got us. We're coming down for the Paracon.
Yes.
So
now we won't have a petting zoo at the Paracon, so forewarning, there won't be.
You know what? We can put a leash on Nick.
Yeah.
What is going on tonight?
$2, pet Nick.
$2, and I'll let you scrap. $5, you can rub my man's goatee. Okay.
But Autumn Fest is a great time. It's one of my favorite events. But then the Tavern Paracon is definitely my baby. And it's a blast. We have a subcommittee that we've built out to help with. We build, we do a raffle and we do a silent auction. We have a bunch of different speakers. Surprise, surprise, including Nick and Bree this year is coming up.
Oh, we're speaking.
Surprise!
All right, surprise.
And
You need to rethink this.
it'll be fine. You'll be on a panel, so no worries. We get other people.
Yeah,
to
this is a
distract.
panel that he's not putting us on stage by ourselves where
Yeah, so,
we
like,
can cause chaos.
If you guys do something weird, we got somebody else to do some razzle dazzle over on the side and like distract while we pull you off stage. It'll be fine.
Don't worry, I won't be doing the Cupid shuffle, okay?
Oh, Jesus.
But we will have it's great. It's not as big as some of the other Paracons. The Bash is one of my absolute favorite events of the year. But I don't know how Steve and Pam do 3 whole days or plus. That is mind-boggling. The Hanover Tavern Paracon is Friday night. We have a VIP experience on the 31st. And we have Patty Negri and Rob Thompson coming in. They're going to be doing a gallery reading. Prior to that, we have our friends from Haunts of Richmond that are going to be sharing some of the more macabre and spooky stories from Hanover County and Richmond. And then we have Ron Iacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez coming in for a Staticom session. And that is always really, really cool. They've done that before at the tavern up in one of the historic rooms. This will be the first time that they're going to be doing this on stage. And like I said, we've got a stage kind of in the round. And so they'll be able to chill there, and we're going to do a really cool session. And then Saturday, we have the full conference. We have a panel that you guys are going to be on. And I'm not going to give away what the title of that panel is. But we have a full lineup of speakers. We're going to have another gallery reading on Saturday. And I'll throw this out there. For those of you that know the Connor sisters, they're going to be there. It's going to be Misty and Ashley Connor and Pat O'Keefe are going to be doing a second gallery reading on Saturday. And that they're always a blast. My God, are they funny as hell.
Awesome.
You'll love them.
I'm so excited for this. This is going to be amazing, getting to see a different part of East Coast. Like, we're not going to be like going south, getting to experience the southern paranormal.
I'm not going to lie. There, I mean, we deal with our fair share of BS here in the Midwest, but the East Coast, man, with all the drama and this or that, I feel like every time I go out there, I'm driving in the lion's den.
So I agree. There tends to be a fair amount of drama just in the paranormal field in general. I try to stay way over here. I don't like the drama. I try to stay out of it as much as I can because I just want to do my work and be happy. And
Right.
I think there's enough space for everybody in the field. And I don't think, that if it's not hurting me or harming me in any way, I'm not gonna yuck on somebody's yum, right?
Right.
And so I also kind of try to showcase that in the conference itself. We purposely build out speakers and presentations so that you can come and you can find something interesting. For example, we're going to have everything from science to the metaphysical to history to purely skeptical.
I like
you will have
awesome.
every single approach that I could think of to the paranormal is represented. And I feel like that way everybody has an opportunity to learn and experience something different and something new, because I feel like the only way that we're going to grow and learn is by sharing knowledge and sharing information. And so that's the one big thing about this particular con that I always try to focus on is I don't want to have it all science-based. I don't want to have it all look at the blinky light stuff. I don't want to have it all skeptic. I want a mix. I want everybody to be able to come to the table equally. And so that's how we approach it. And we also do that in such a way that
Excuse me.
Everybody that we bring is respectful of everybody else. I will have gallery readings. and then immediately after that, I'm going to have a hardcore skeptic take the stage, right? And they're respectful, right? They're adults, and that's what I'm looking for. Really, is like, yeah, we can all have different views, right? We can all have
Right.
different
Yeah.
approaches, but so long as there's a level of respect, everything's okay. And that's how it, that's how I approach it. Is I want everybody to have fun. I want everybody to have a good time. It's the whole purpose of it is restoration and preservation of history and of the tavern. But then underlying, I want people to learn and have an appreciation for different ideas and different viewpoints, and that we can all share a space without aggressively disagreeing with each other. It's okay to have different ideas.
Right.
We should all have different ideas. We all
Sure.
should have different thought processes, and we should all be able to have the conversation and debate and do all that stuff.
Mhm.
You know, that's the premise. That's what's behind the paranormal, and we lose sight of that, and it's sad sometimes, but it is what it is.
And the other really nice thing, and I always love to throw this out there, all of our speakers are coming in on their own time. Patty is flying all the way in on her own dime, and she is participating in this. Rob is driving down. Everybody is paying their way to be here, to be part of it. And I'm not saying that as like look at us, look at me, but I'm trying to get people that share that, not necessarily like, I don't know, maybe that vision, right? That idea of being able to come together and under that one umbrella. But it's all selfless people, all people that are willing to take time out of their busy schedule, and come down and share their knowledge. They're not gatekeeping it. They're not like, this is my knowledge, I'm going to hold it over here away from you.
Right.
They're willing to get on stage and talk about it and share it. And it's not even just the people on stage. There are so many cool folks that are going to be there that won't step foot onto that stage that you can still learn from. And I'm not, I don't want to be like, well, look at these people up here, they're better than everybody else. We're all equal footing. Everybody's equal footing in this field.
Preach, brother. Preach.
And you can learn something from everybody that'll be there. And that's what I really like about it, is everybody can come, they can talk. It's I try to have it as a chill kind of, environment, fun. You get to learn, you get to experience, and that's what I kind of go for. So
I love that.
Well, we look forward to it, brother. We really do.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna be geeking. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be like looking at like because I'm such a history nerd. Like I am like
such a nerd.
I'm a total dork. I'm not gonna lie. Like when we were in Gettysburg, I was like, I went freaking ham. Like he was like, you need to just move here and be a tour guide. Like I think you know more than the ones that are stayed here. Oh my gosh! Like we're driving down, and I'm like, and this is where General Reynolds was shot and killed in the back of the head. And
you see this? You see this patch of grass? That's where he died at, right there on that.
Right there, might be the same grass though.
Right there. That's the great grandfather that he died on, that his blood was shed upon.
Nick, pull over. I gotta get some dirt.
Right.
Bro, I can see you doing that too. Idea. I can totally see you doing that, bro. You'd be like, I gotta get the shovel out of the trunk. Hey, give me your water bottle.
Short of chiseling a monument.
I would be doing that with the 20th Maine, okay? Like Taryn Kerper and I already decided that we share custody of a husband, Joshua Chamberlain. I mean, I don't think people understand in the 20th Maine monument is so simplistic, and so people are like, oh, they were the right flank. It's in, Killer Angels, the movie Gettysburg. It was in the movie. It's in the book. And it's like, yeah, but the whole significance, like historically, like if that flank had been overrun, do you think we would have the United States that we have right now? Because damn well the South would have won.
Mm-hmm. The South will rise again.
I mean,
great state of Virginia.
For Virginia. Virginia.
Oh man.
All right.
Sorry,
brother.
I had to do my Armistead.
All right.
Gotta love a good Armistead.
Are you ready for the 3 most difficult questions you'll ever be asked in your whole life?
Okay, I'm in. I'm down.
All
I'm
right.
sweating bullets over here for you, man. This is hard.
So we got about 25,000 listeners in 40 countries around the world. I mean, we're no Joe Rogan, but we try one of these days, but maybe not. Anyways, tell all our listeners around the world, Steve, something interesting or a weird fact that most people wouldn't know about yourself.
Something interesting that most folks wouldn't know about me. Well, we talked about my gaming. I don't know. I always try to like. I'm definitely the kind of person that I wear everything on my sleeve. I don't really hide anything. I am a massive Haunted Mansion fan. I don't know if that counts. And I love the Haunted Mansion. Which I'm drinking out of a Haunted Mansion coffee cup tonight. So I don't know if that's weird.
Well, there you go.
He actually had the hoodie on when we were in Virginia.
I did have the hoodie on. You know what?
You
You know what?
did.
Here's
I
here's
remember
a
that.
here's a fun fact. I played the clarinet in middle school for the sole purpose of there was a girl that was in that class that I thought was cute. And so I learned how to play the fucking clarinet. I don't remember how to play it, and I've never touched it since. But for one whole semester, I did. So there's an interesting fact.
So it didn't work out in your favor.
Nope, no, but it
Okay.
worked better. It worked out better. I've got
Oh,
jazz
okay.
now.
Okay.
I got
All right.
jazz now. And I didn't have to play wind instruments for that. So
All right, brother. Next question. So all us paranormal people were really quirky about our meals before our investigation. We're even quirky about our specific snacks, our specific drinks while we investigate. You know, we tend to like the Mexican food before investigation, which is a
Yep.
no, but we do it anyways.
Those EVPs, though, man.
Telling you, man, it just you put a little extra energy in the air, and they can draw off of it, and
We've actually had it work once.
So, tell us your go-to snack and drinks while you're investigating. Why?
that's my daughter Cora. She's like, "What are you doing?"
Aw.
My go-to snack. Okay, so this is horrible, but one of my team members, Rhonda, and Tiffany, and Pam and Jay always bring snacks. I'm a seafood kind of guy. I see food and I eat it. So I don't really care necessarily what snacks they are, so long as there are snacks. I am not snackist. I am open, and I accept all snacks. When Rhonda does make these little back to balls, she makes these little sausage balls that are really good. So we'll eat those. But I don't have like a particular. I'm just happy when other people bring food, and then I don't have to. I do tend to
Say,
eat
are you the one that
Mexican.
don't bring any then?
You're goddamn right. I know that everybody else is gonna bring snacks, and they'll be like, "Here, have these snacks," and I'm like, "Oh, gee, thanks." And also, uh, my ADHD makes sure that I get all my equipment in the car, and then I realize halfway down the road that I didn't bring any water, or I didn't bring in this or that or this or that. So I'm like prepared from an equipment standpoint, which I guess is the most important thing. But then everything else after that, I gotta like stop at a gas station. Now, I do tend to, weirdly enough, also eat Mexican before an investigation. I don't know why. It just so happens to be that we're gonna be like, all right, well, we're gonna go investigate, and then we end up at a Mexican restaurant right beforehand. I don't know. It's a curse.
How somebody is going to have to open up a paranormal Mexican place.
I think we need to do a study and understand like why do paranormal people go and eat Mexican? Like I feel like it's a trend. A lot of people do it. And I don't
Yeah.
I like do you eat a lot of Mexican regularly, or do you just like we're gonna go investigate, you know what, I got a hankering for Mexican?
Well, I normally don't eat the Mexicans. I hang out with them, but I'll eat their food.
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes you have to eat the Mexicans.
Well, I mean, I made some banging burritos for dinner tonight, and I actually just commented in the chat, like my stomach, since we've been in here all night, is like, and I'm like, man, if the mic, people are gonna be listening to this like in Russia and be like, I think I heard a voice in the background. No, it's just my son of people. Sorry.
I am interested though.
Yeah,
Like
are,
somebody needs to do a
okay?
study on this and like understand, is there a direct relation between paranormal investigations and profits at Mexican restaurants?
Queso
Yeah.
or salsa?
God, it depends. It depends. Like I'll go for the queso, but sometimes if I'm feeling cheap, then I just stick with the salsa because it's typically free.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it also depends because like the queso is warm and the salsa is usually like chilled, and so like if it's a hot day, I don't want queso because it's warm and I'm warm. Like I can't like I'm the kind of person like my wife can eat soup any day of the year. If it's summer, do not give me soup.
Right.
I cannot eat soup during the summer. That is a fall and winter thing. If
All right. Next question. Here we go. You got
okay,
one night, one investigation. You can only bring 3 items to investigate with. What are you bringing?
is there anybody else in your house?
No.
Did you guys
Yes.
just okay?
I'm gonna go check it though because I actually had a door slam shut on me today. I
Okay,
forgot to
because
tell you about that.
I was
And
like,
nobody was
like,
in the house.
I
We
just
well
saw
we've
the
got
door close, and I was like, what?
no, we have stuff like that happen though. Like our our combined second oldest, my oldest, lives here with us right now. But he works for Nick and they were gone at work today. And I could not for the life of me find the cats, or I couldn't find 2 of the cats and the dog. And I'm like, what the hell happened to the animals? And then I happened to like turn around and I noticed, and I'd heard a door slam, but I was like, I hear that frequently and no door actually closes. But I turned around and looked over my shoulder and noticed that Alex's door was actually shut. And sure enough, the 3 animals were in there, like laying on beds, like looking scared shitless at me.
Hmm. Yeah, Cody says
So,
Brielle is coming for the internet again.
Probably. Probably.
All right, so 3 pieces of equipment. Are flashlights considered equipment?
No.
Okay. My daughter's Tamagotchi is dead, by the way, so that's why we're here.
Aw.
Um, so obviously flashlight. But that's not gonna count. I love my camera. I've got a full spectrum, zero lux night vision camera, so I always bring that with me everywhere because I feel like that is the difference between a personal experience and something that is documented, and that can be shared with other people. So a camera, um, I will bring my audio recorder. I've got a Zoom H1, which I really love, and it's got a really nice wide range of frequency for audio, and it also has directional mics, so on top of that, I can also see where the audio is coming from.
Oh,
And I'd
cool.
say the last thing that I'd probably bring, I'm much more data focused, by the way. So I think the last thing I'd probably bring is maybe my EDI plus. And that might be cheating a little bit because it's multiple pieces of equipment in one, but you said equipment, you didn't specify. So my EDI plus, um,
That
because
counts. That
I can
counts.
set that down and it's recording data, so I can put my camera on it and have EVP sessions. But I can also say, hey, listen, uh, I experienced something, and one of the fun things is I've seen in the past where um immediately before, during, or after a preternatural experience, uh, a spike in ionizing radiation and a spike in barometric pressure. And so I love being able to look at the data and say, okay, well, I did have an experience, or I did have an EVP, and that lines up with something tangible. The barometric pressure
Right.
spiked, I received an EVP, or whatever. And so, you know, I think it'll be those 3 things so that I can document it properly for me. I'm not a huge blinky light person because that's in the moment, and I can't do anything with that. Um, I can do a burst EVP session and then respond, right?
Right.
Um, and I feel like that would be the same as a flashlight turning on and off, or a cat ball lighting up, or fill in the blank, REM pod, of which an EDI Plus has a an EMF detector on it anyway. So
Right. Well,
Yeah.
built in. Again, it's
Throwing
cheating
that
a little
over
bit.
here.
yeah, we have one somewhere over there.
Okay, hold
I
on.
don't know.
I know where it's at.
I've got so much crap. There you go. This is what he's talking about, people. This is an EDI Plus.
It's great, and it's got a SD card slot in the top, so that you can go back and look at your data, and you can see what's going on when and all that sort of stuff. And it includes temperature, barometric pressure,
It's good.
EMF. It's got a geophone in it, so if there's vibrations or anything like that, God, it's great. I love all the data off of it.
Brother, we appreciate you taking over the show tonight, and you did a phenomenal job. We're here every Tuesday, so
We're here every Tuesday. And I want to thank my guests, Bree and Nick, for being on tonight as well. Thank you
we
guys.
appreciate you, brother.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for reaching out
Yeah.
and thinking of us.
Yes.
I mean, I know it really warmed our hearts, and we feel very blessed and honored.
Yeah.
Thanks,
now-
man.
Wait, hold on. I got a tissue, babe. Here you go.
He's
You're
crying
welcome.
because it is the first time I'm hosting. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Now, if you liked this prime content, Chef's Kiss, please like, subscribe, and comment, because that gets us into the future. And check us out on Facebook, Old World Paranormal Society. On Facebook, give us a like there, and a review for your wonderful host on the evening, and also for our guests. And please share it with your family, your friends, your grandmother, specifically your grandmother, please. Your boss at work, share with them
Yes.
too.
The secretary, you never know.
Yeah,
Secretary, get it out in the newspaper, in the newsletter for the company. You know.
Oh yeah.
headlines, baby, headlines.
Oh yeah.
Right. Listen, get a Sharpie marker, go to your closest public bathroom and write it on the wall. Just anything.
Great, that's what I need.
For a
Email
good
some
time.
phone calls.
He's gonna hand me the phone and be like, "Executive assistant," but like, shit.
Like,
Well, babe.
hello, I'm calling for a good time.
No number. Who this? Who this?
I'm looking for
No,
Nicholas.
you know what? No, I'm gonna stop at some truck stop in the bathroom. I'm like, if you like this TP, you might like this TP.
You should do it. I'm down. I'm okay with this.
Call Babe for a good time.
Call Babe for a good time.
Well, brother, we appreciate you. We look forward to January for sure, man.
Yeah,
It's gonna
I'm
be
excited.
a great time. Best of
Oh,
luck for the
God.
rest
And we
of
get to
the.
investigate too, by the way. So you guys will get to go
Oh.
into the Old Stone Jail. We're gonna investigate the tavern. We're gonna investigate the historic Clerk of Courts building and the historic courthouse where Patrick Henry argued the Parsons Cause, which was taxation without representation. Spark of the Revolutionary War.
Yes. Oh my god.
Holy crap!
I got goosebumps.
I'm gonna bring all my flashing lights.
Bring
We're
all
gonna light
of your
that
cat
bitch up
balls.
like the 4th of July. I'm gonna come in with 500 cat balls and be like, "Hey, Steve." Shh.
I think you should just get a massive cat, just one really big cat ball.
I could be like a hamster ball with me in it.
Oh God!
You could dress up as a cat ball.
There we go. Our Halloween costumes. We're cat balls. Although people be like, they're light up nipples
They're two balls,
Oh, my
and it's just cat balls.
with a little nipple on top.
But both of you dressed up, so you just two balls. You're welcome, Nick.
We could be like, we could have a sign that says, "Push our button."
Oh,
Push it
veto
and then
this
we
one.
light up.
I'm vetoing this one before it even starts.
Touch me here.
And we've been canceled again, people.
Pricing of tickets, Adam, for general admission, it's $12 a person. We're trying to keep it low, and something that everybody and their friends and family can come in and enjoy. For Friday Night Fright, which is the Friday night VIP experience, I believe. Don't quote me on this because I don't have it in front of me, but I believe that's $35. That does include the gallery reading, It does include a 1 hour cocktail hour experience where you get to hang out with all the special guests and everything like that. The gallery reading and the Staticom session. The investigation Saturday night is $70. It's a little bit kind of more expensive, but we're trying to make sure we cover for everything. And we also have to work with the government, like the local government, to get access to the courthouse, the clerk of court's office. Oh, we're also going to investigate the library that's there too. It's an old library that is built into a graveyard, which is fun. They just kind of push the bodies to the side. So
I mean, it's definitely worth it. $70. Come on, man.
Yeah. So we're going to be investigating.
My face is never ending right now.
It's 5 locations that you investigate that evening. 5 locations.
Wow.
What's the timing on that? How much time?
We're going to be going from 9 p.m. until about 2 or 3 in the morning.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a long night. I mean, it's fun. It's fun. It's absolutely fun. But
we might need to find like an Airbnb where we don't have to do like an 8 a.m. checkout or something.
So I'm going to be working with a local hotel and getting block pricing. It's the same one that most, like when we work with for weddings, same one. So they know us. Very, very, very good hotel. Clean, like it's a place I would stay. I always kind of rate it like, would I stay there? And I'm pretty picky. I'm like, is there hair on the bed? And I'm like, if I see like one of them random hairs, I'm like, I'm out, because I don't know.
Yeah, like you go to the bathroom and you're checking the trash can to make sure.
Yeah, and there's still something in there. You know what I mean? Nah, that's a pass.
Yeah, and you're just like, yeah.
And then you're like, I don't know what they did. Like, did they just put the sheets back on the bed? They just kind of fix them all back up.
Yeah.
But I do work with them, so I'm gonna try to get some block pricing. And the nice thing is, we try to host it when there's not a whole lot of other ons or activities going on, and there's not a whole lot going on at the end of January here, which means that the prices tend to be a little bit lower in the hotels. So try to keep that pretty cheap. And then the $12 general admission is for, you get access to all the vendors, all of the presentations. The exception is the gallery reading with the Connor sisters on Saturday. That is a separate price. I think it's like $20. And that's it. So $12 gets you pretty much everything. We do have a full restaurant and bar, so you don't have to go off site to get food or worry about a food truck or anything like that. We've got a great restaurant, unbiased. And everybody loves our bartender Don. Don has already gonna be there. He's like ready and excited for everybody. And he makes some mean drinks. Oh, how do we get in contact with me? So I'm Steve Dills, so you can find me on Facebook. I'm public. I'm also on Transcend Paranormal, so you can find me and message me there, as well as Eerie Encounters. You can find that there on Facebook, and there's also the Hanover Tavern Paracon page if you want to check that out. There's a lot of information that's to be coming. I'm still kind of making sure that I have all of my speakers giving me the thumbs up. I'm waiting on one. So if that's you and you should know who you are, then you need to let me know.
Hold on.
Not us. I RSVP'd.
No, it's not. You're good.
He messaged and I'm like, is this too fast? I'm at the Ross house. He's laying flooring and I'm like, of course we will be there.
Sure.
Yeah, because she was doing nothing while I was working my ass off.
Well, I had to, because everything was, while he was doing the flooring, I actually sat down with Cindy and helped work with her on her business plan.
Messing.
So
yeah, you I helped with tea parties. We do doll tea parties.
Well, okay, tea party after we sat down and talked about the business plan, and then when he got done with the floor, we brought the furniture in, and I helped her with figuring out the era and making sure the house has a flow.
The cheap, and yeah,
it's got to have it. Well, you don't want to walk into a location and be confused. Where am I? What's the backstory? You want to make sure that somebody walks in and they know. And they can feel it. You want them to walk into a location and them automatic. You walk into Hinsdale and you know what's going on at Hinsdale. But this is a new location.
You walk into the Ross house and you're like, this is where they host doll tea parties. I can feel it.
I'm gonna tag you when I share that video now, Steve, just for you. Be like, Steve, you wish you were here. Don't worry, I'm bringing Brielle into the.
Oh, good, great, perfect. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I will make sure she gets there safely.
He'll make sure
There's
she's
a-
buckled up.
There's a little creek behind the tavern. We can yeet it in there if you'd like, Nick.
I'm gonna call Mary Jo.
Well, Steve, brother, thank you so much for coming on. You've been a good sport and
Thank you
taking
for
over
having
the
me.
show
Appreciate
for
it.
us and our huge debacle. And if you're
It was
listening
fun.
and if you listen to the podcast on any format, like I said, if you at the beginning of the episode, we're gonna keep moving forward. We're gonna revamp this whole thing, and we look forward to it. So stick with us. Make sure that you are liking and subscribing. Shoot us a message if there's somebody you'd like to see on the show or anything like that. We'll do the best we can with that. And definitely, if you're in the area in end of January, for sure, Hanover Paracon, October 12th and October 26th.
Yep.
We will be hosting events at Wildwood Sanitarium. You can get on Wildwood's page, right?
Yep, you can actually go to the website and you can purchase your tickets. The 12th, it's $80, but sorry, 50% of the proceeds go to suicide awareness and prevention.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the 26th, 50% of the proceeds go towards the actual renovation and the restoration of the bathroom. They are bringing it back to the 1920s, and Nick and I have volunteered our time to go spend a week and do renovations on Wildwood. I was already there for a week in June, and this time I'll be making my reappearance with my better half by my side.
We will be redoing the bathrooms at Wildwood Sanitarium.
Yes.
So you can
Wildwood is first off.
And shower. I mean, they've already got it there, but we're taking it from the 1970s, 80s, and we're taking it back in time to the 1920s, which is, I think, highly appropriate. So, on the 26th, well, on the 12th, and Brooke will be there with us, and Brooke and I will both be offering readings, and 50% of the readings will be going towards suicide awareness and prevention. And I'll be offering readings on the 26th with 50% of the proceeds going towards the renovations.
And
So
Wildwood is awesome too, by the way.
Wildwood is a beat.
It is an amazing location.
Hang out with Bree and I. Have a good time. I guarantee it's going to be worth it. We are just as much like this as an investigation. So
sorry, I was trying to figure out what that note. Did you hear that?
I didn't hear nothing.
It sounded like something like just pushed on your organizer.
I heard something over there.
We got to get our
Brianne's
equipment
on the
out.
desk over here, so it's not her.
We got to get our equipment out and start investigating people. We appreciate you guys listening.
See the line, you can join with us long distance.
Question: the bathroom. You're not replacing the door, right?
No, the door's going to stay there.
Good, because I signed the door.
You signed the door underneath me.
Well, I figured I'm like, where's everybody going to see my name? Everybody goes to the bathroom, so I'm like, I'm on the bathroom door.
That's what I did. Kalani signed, and I was like, I'm taking the middle part right here. And every time I've been back, I just keep adding. But what's funny was I can't add any more around my name because other people have signed around my name saying, hi, Bree. And I'm like, this is hilarious. When I was there in June, I was taking pictures. I was like, people are actually like, hi, Bree. I'm like, what? And it's funny because you'll see people have responded to your signature, Santiago's.
Oh my god, really? That's amazing.
Yeah. Like people have written underneath Santiago, I love The Walking Dead. I mean, I'm dying as I read this bathroom door whenever I'm there. I'm like, people are like, but it's so cool seeing people interact because it's like we're just people. We're just doing what we love. Trying to inspire other people to, find their love and their passion of history.
And to write on bathroom doors.
Yeah, and graffiti, totally graffiti.
And graffiti on bathroom doors.
now people are finding themselves because we're writing on bathroom doors.
That's awesome. I
You
love
need
it.
to end the Zoom. Sorry.
Are you
Yes.
done? Can we end the podcast?
You can end the Zoom. Yes, you can end the Zoom. I promise.
With that, this episode is over. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you guys for having
All
me.
right, YouTube. Welcome to the post game show. Bree has a lot more that she wants to talk about on the bathroom door, and we're gonna have at it. And there's people interacting with the door, and then they sign it, and they put the winky emojis, and then they blow kisses at Steve Dills, and then
You just feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Because of a bathroom door.
Yeah. Well, I don't want that bathroom door to go away. I mean, that is prime real estate for signing, as far as I'm concerned. Like, you got the front door and you got the bathroom door. Like, nobody else is gonna. There are other places that people will never go, or people won't always go. You will always, if you're spending time at Wildwood, you're gonna go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
Prime,
I think one of my
prime real
favorite
estate.
signatures is actually on the door frame, and it's from Jen from Bump of the Night, and she says, "I hope you have fun going." Like, she basically tells you have fun taking a shit. It's
Hope
great.
you have a good spooky dookie.
Yep.
The old spooky dookie.
It's amazing. I've had some of the most amazing experiences
that's not
at
what I thought she was gonna say.
Wildwood. So when I was there in January with two other people after Remotely Paranormal, we were in the doll room and the 36-foot tripwire completely blew out. When I was there in June, Zach came in, Brooke's husband, to help me move furniture because we restaged the front, the downstairs. And I had, at this point, we own our own 36 tripwire now. And I had it going from the kitchen all the way through and like into the hallway towards the bathroom, and it blew out. And I'm like, there's no freaking way. I've now experienced tripwires completely blow out twice in this location.
We
I've
were there
had
for one night because we were Chris and I were traveling up to Hinsdale to film, and so we went and we stayed there, and we had the Ansleys and Heidi Kemper come and stay with us there. And it is great because I was like, God, I need to get like a hotel because I don't want to drive all that time and then try to film and look like I'm dead. So Dan's like, well, why don't you talk to Brooke? And Brooke was like, yeah, sure, just come and stay, have at it. And it was awesome. And they came up, and I told them they needed to come up and hang out with me, and we ordered some pizza, and so we all hung out and had some pizza, and then did a little bit of investigating, and it was crazy because we were there one night, right? And I typically don't have activity in the form of like being touched, but had somebody like playing with my hair. Chris, when we went into the basement, had a little, what he feels like was a little boy holding his hand as he walked through the basement. And he also saw like a face while we were down there as well, like just we were walking past like where some of the shelving is, and it was like to the left hand side. I mean, it
I know what you're talking about.
was pretty active. I mean, now I know a lot of people will like stay upstairs and all that sort of stuff. Both of us have IBS, and so we decided that we were going to sleep downstairs because that is the closest and only functioning bathroom. And I'm like, I do not care. I'm not running. I don't care. Like, you can tell me it's the most active room. It's 3, up on the 3rd floor. You got to sleep up there. I'm like, is there a bathroom? No. Okay. Well, I'm sleeping next to the bathroom. So like,
well, when I was
I'm like,
there,
I'll go
June,
investigate it, but I ain't sleeping there.
It's got the most comfortable bed. It's the highest rated. Well, is the bathroom working? No. Okay, I'm downstairs on the couch. When I was there in June, right? every time I've been there by myself. Now I've stayed at Wildwood by myself on 3 separate occasions now. Four occasions I've stayed there by myself. And each time I slept on the couch because now it was before I moved the couch, because the couch is now where the wingback chairs used to be with the piano.
Oh, okay.
I moved the piano up towards the front door where the old display case used to be. That display case is completely gone.
Oh,
So the
okay.
piano is right there. And then I moved, it's Wildwood's getting a complete revamp. It is amazing what we're doing with moving stuff around. And so it's like when you walk in, it's got a it's completely like it feels open. The
That's
couch is down there and it's like, it's amazing. It's beautiful. And so, and I redid like a lot of the artwork. So that way, when they're doing the tours, like it's got the timeline with the pictures on the walls now, like it all flows. So that way, like you can see the timeline of Wildwood and when it was used as a sanitarium, and it's got a tribute to the 2 doctors right by the piano in the front.
That's
But
cool.
before I moved everything where the couch used to be, I would always lay on that couch and have because I would go live on TikTok and I'd have my camera pointed towards the kitchen because there's an old janitor that is down in the basement and he will come up the stairs and oh, the cat's behind the door. Okay, that's why the door's
Oh,
shut.
okay.
I'm like, the door moved. Sorry. I'm like, why is the door moving? Hold on. Our kitten Macaroni's behind the door. But you can see a shadow figure, and the shadow figure was so real. I actually, when I was there in January by myself, my best friend called me and she's like, you need to get out of the house. And I'm like, do I need to call the cops? She goes, you need to get out of the house. We're watching your TikTok live. It looks like there's a solid human in the home right now. And we're trying to figure it out. But she's a jailer in Iowa. And her husband's a street cop. So she was like, look, you need to get out of the house. And I'm like, I'm grabbing my cigarettes and going out. Okay. And so they're watching and then they realize you can start to see through the bottom half of this person. But what's crazy is when I went through my TikTok footage, you don't see it. It actually like glitches when they said the time frame that they said they saw this solid human, my TikTok glitched and the footage isn't there.
I've had that happen before though too. I've had that happen on EVPs weirdly enough as well, where we're like we record something and we're standing there doing a burst session, we listen back and we're like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. And then I get back and I hook it up to my computer and I go to pull it into Audacity, nowhere to be found. And I'm like, it's
like
not
they
like
want you to hear it then.
yeah, and like it's not like okay, I listened to it once. We'd sit there and play it and play it and play it and we're like, what is this saying? What do we hear? Like this is cool. Like, is this an important piece for us to have a conversation, right? Because we're looking like, okay, well, what are they saying? What can we converse about? And so we'd listen to it time and time and time, and then go and hook it up on the computer, nothing. And I'm like, how? I just had that recently too. I just had that recently last weekend.
Well, it blows my mind. It's like spirit wants to connect with us, but it's like it's like we already know that they can manipulate electronics, right? But for them to be able to manipulate it so things go off and then they can change, like Grimpod, they can hold a solid blue or they can go to purple, and hold it intelligent. Okay, you're making it green, but can you go blue? So I know that can you validate that way? I know I'm speaking to somebody and it's not just randomly going off and it hits blue and it holds blue. You're like, oh my gosh, can you let it go? And it lets go. Can you touch it again? No. Can you touch it? Macaroni, everybody. Our big Maine Coon baby. Like that is amazing. But then it's like for them to not only be able to manipulate it to the colors that we want, but to manipulate the electronic to erase what should be there because it was only meant for that moment in time. Like the intelligence behind that. Like, no, you were only supposed to hear this while you were here. This isn't leaving the home. This isn't leaving the building. This isn't leaving the property. Like this was only for this moment in time. I think, I mean, that just like blows my mind how spirit can manipulate and control when and how we see and we interact. Another really cool thing with Wildwood, I've got it on TikTok. I'll have to send it to you. Um, cat EVP was caught, and I interacted with a cat on 4 separate occasions while I was there in June.
Did you like
It actually,
meow at it and it meowed back at you, or?
no, like my phone is actually in the rig. Like I've got one of the rigs that they use, like that you see TikTokers and YouTubers
Mhm.
using. And so it's in the rig. I'm sitting on the couch, or I'm sitting on the couch. It's like 2 feet in front of me. I'm not touching it. And you hear a cat meowing, and then what sounds like a cat rubbing its face and purring on my phone.
Hmm,
But my
that's
phone's in
cool.
a, and there's no cat on in Wildwood. There hasn't been a cat there for almost 7 years at this point. That's the last time
Yeah.
they had a cat on the property. And the cat ball, I was like, I put it on the wing back chair before I moved the furniture, and I made sure it wouldn't move by movement. And I'm sitting still, I'm asking questions, and I'd ask a question, and that cat ball wouldn't just roll off the chair. It like flew off the chair, like something whacked it in like response to questions. It was really cool.
That is neat. I mean, we've recorded, we've been to some places. For example, when we were at a place called the Graffiti House in Culpeper, Virginia, or Brandy Station, which is in Culpeper, but Graffiti House and Fleetwood Church and the surrounding area was the site of one of the largest cavalry battle of the Civil War. And
Yeah.
hello, sir.
You
This is my
probably got to get going and get littles into bed.
well, that's my son Alex. He was homesick today. And
Oh no.
he's on a mix of Tylenol and Motrin right now, so he's kind of running around a little wild. But he's
Hot
hitting
off
like
the presses. Hot off the
yes.
presses here. There is a brand new podcast called It Came from the Podcast.
What?
Uh
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that yeah. I mean
Sorry, we gotta poke fun because of we gotta joke where we can.
oh,
ugh.
I feel you. But we recorded the sound of a horse, which is very appropriate for that spot. And then we also
Right.
recorded the sound of some farm animals, which also made sense because that area previous to the war was farmland. Hi, sir. So now he's running around like God. 2 hours ago, he had like a temperature of like 102, and here he
Oof.
is, 3-year-old running
Oh
around
no.
like a bat out of hell. But of
Poor
course,
guy.
because he, you know, had a temperature today, he can't go to daycare tomorrow. So gotta figure that fun out. Um, come here. Do you want to say
I
hi?
remember those days. I
Oh
No.
remember
Okay.
yeah.
those days.
Goodbye. Yeah. So
No.
busy with it. Yeah, he just keeps running in and out right now. But yeah, I mean, we've recorded audio of like animals and stuff, and that's really cool. Like, it's hard to interact, especially I'm like, I don't know what to say to a horse. But oh, there we are. Hello, sir. Or
Hi.
goodbye. Um, but it was really cool, and it like made sense, right? For the location contextually. Um, there was a battle, and there were so many horses that were killed in action at that point. Hello, sir.
Hi.
Goodbye, sir. So it was really cool. It was a really unique thing, and um, one of
That
my
is awesome.
favorite EVPs was at Henricus Historical Park, um, and it wasn't an animal, but just in the topic of weird EVPs. Um, what are you doing?
I'm listening, but I saw this little head come running up,
Uh,
and the mom and me's like, "Oh, baby."
um, recorded this EVP that wasn't English. And it was actually Virginian Algonquin, which is what the Powhatan tribe in the area would have spoke at that time. Um, and it said Wingapo. And in Virginia Algonquin, that actually means hello, friend. So it was really cool to get like
Oh
this
yeah.
non-English EVP,
Yep.
and also to be welcomed in where it was definitely a
That
tumultuous
smile. He's
history.
just like,
Yeah, he's wired right now. All right, well I better go so I can get him. It's somewhat of a stage for bed,
all
but
right, brother.
again, thank you guys for having me, and
Oh, thank
if
you.
not
Whoa.
sooner, I'll see you guys in January and February.
Yes.
Sir.
We are looking forward to it. And as soon as you got more details for us, just go ahead and shoot them my way, and I'll make sure it's marked on the calendar. And as soon as you got the hotel information, definitely send that too, because we'll
Yes.
go ahead and make sure we got that reserved ASAP with
I'll let
the
you know,
amount of
'cause
people I'm sure is going to go.
I try to, I want to save people money because like the same thing with me when I'm going to places, it's my own pocket. So
Yeah.
I try to like work with places that it's a nice hotel, it's someplace that you'd want to stay. What are you doing?
Well, I think what you're doing, especially to help, is great. And, Nick and I, one thing that we've got a passion for is helping locations and trying to bring attention, especially to like hidden gems, because nobody in the Midwest knows what the Hanover Tavern is unless they happen to have been through the area in Richmond that this is located in. And if we can bring more eyes and ears from the Midwest
Right.
towards the Hanover Tavern and show people like, look, this is here, this is available, this is what it offers. We want to be able to do that, and that's what I love about the paranormal being coast to coast, is that we're all able to come together and showcase these beautiful locations and bring them to the people from the areas that we're from, and anything that we can do to help locations with raising money, especially when it comes to, restoration and preservation, especially like when we were watching your talk and you showed the pictures of the house across the street from the tavern that got demolished. Like, it took everything in me not to break down and cry, because like that, it just rips at my soul knowing that we are losing so much of our history, and it's bad enough we're losing history because of politics.
Yep.
I don't want to lose history because of financing. So if there's something that we can do to help, we're more than willing to volunteer to help.
Yeah, well, it's appreciated because it sucks. It sucked. We investigated that building for a number of years. And oh, look, but there you are. Come here, I'll show you. Oh,
He sees daddy. He was pointing at the screen, looking at daddy. Hi, honey.
but it
Well,
sucks to
let
lose
you.
those spots. So
Yeah. Well, if there's anything else that you need help with, Hanover or any of the other locations, definitely give us a holler. We'd be more than willing to, do what we can to help.
I appreciate it for sure.
Uh,
Definitely will.
but have a wonderful night and give little man
Thank
a big
you.
squeeze for us. Thank you so much.